Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to episode 169. Today, we're going to be talking about pain. You know, if you've been through a divorce, you've been through pain, it's inevitable. But the suffering that you go through is your choice. So if you're ready, let's get started.
Hey, Joe.
Hello, Doreen. How are you?
Good.
What is that on your lap?
So, for those of you that are watching us by video on YouTube, I've got Zen Zen on the lap.
Aw,
Our little
Zen.
Frenchie who looks rather tired, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's so cute. He was begging and itching to come up, and so Mommy let him up. He's kind of like just prompting, like putting his head partially on my leg here.
It's
I think
so
he's
cute.
gonna fall asleep.
He might.
Okay,
So it's the perfect weather for a nap. Right?
Yeah, it's rainy here.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
rainy. So what's going on? Tell me something new.
Something new. I don't know. We're going to talk about pain and suffering, babe.
Well, I like the pain part of it is inevitable, but the suffering is kind of that doesn't sound fun.
No, it doesn't.
You know,
It
You're
doesn't.
going to go
We
through
all
painful
recognize
moments.
that going through divorce is challenging.
Yes.
I like to use that word, and it can be painful. But the suffering part of it is where the beauty lies. You can get out of the suffering part of it. And that's what we want to talk about.
Well, a lot of times we talk about 50-50 of life.
Right.
Life
good,
is
bad.
good and bad. There's pain, there's happiness, there's all kinds of, yin and yang when
Yeah.
it comes to emotions. So if pain is a big part of the world, or let's say 50% of our world and in our life, and we accept it, look at it as a way to check your capacity to feel.
Right, because without the pain, you wouldn't understand the good things.
Absolutely.
The greatness. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
We believe pain gives us an opportunity for us to deepen our ability to feel,
Yeah.
right? Because it really, imagine if things was all rainbows and daisies and unicorns all day long, like much of social media likes to portray.
Yeah, exactly.
Side note.
Television.
Television and all that. But the bottom line is that, when you go through bad times, you can appreciate the good times. So divorce, hey, it's just one of those things. Nobody goes into marriage thinking, oh, yeah, one day I'm going to get divorced. No. We all go into marriage wanting the marriage to work, and sometimes things just don't work out. That doesn't mean it was a failure. I always talk about that. But, it'll be painful getting from here to there because change requires anything you do that is different, that is goal-oriented, that is focused on your future. There is some pain involved in that. It's not all going to be like, easy going.
Well, I wish I was a coach when I was going through my divorce.
Why?
I just, sharing with
When did you
everybody
get
out
divorced?
there. When?
Yeah. How many years ago?
15, 16, and then about 16 and a half.
16 and a half?
Yeah, 16 and a half years, yeah.
Okay.
But no, I was just going to share with everybody out there. When I think back when I was writing the episode, I was thinking how much additional pain I added to the process with the drama, the anger, the hate. I really did add to the...
You got involved in it, didn't you?
Well, I got involved in
You
it,
didn't
but
know about coaching back then.
I only coach
You
I
weren't
had was
able to
football coach and martial arts coach.
You weren't able to control your thoughts.
I had no control over my thoughts.
And so you had a lot of anger?
Well, I thought I did have control of my thoughts. See,
Right.
I said that thought, because I chose to think of anger and meanness, but what I didn't do was realize that those thoughts did not serve.
What results were you getting by having anger as part of your core emotion?
More anger.
Probably the results were horrible.
But I didn't have a desired outcome to choose that these thoughts were not serving my wants. They were not serving.
Explain.
Well, if I, for an example, say I wanted a happy life, I wanted to live my life with peace and joy, health. These thoughts aren't serving that. It's making me feel tired. It's making me feel lethargic.
Well, the biggest problem and why I see divorces dragging on, and then they get upset with the lawyers because we charge money, right? We charge for our time. The biggest problem isn't the complexity of the issues. I mean, that's rare that we have such involved issues. I mean, it does happen, but most cases we can figure it out. It's the emotions.
Well, that was my point.
That's driving it.
Yeah.
So anger drives continued litigation.
Right. Well, that was my
So
point.
the result is you're spending more money, you're stuck in anger, you're not getting through the divorce, your kids are taking it as well, and your family and your friends and everybody around you. I mean, come on. So get control of your pain in a way that serves you.
Right. And that was my original
Right.
point, was to let everybody know out there that my additional drama and my additional
drama?
addition to the pain
Do
and
tell
suffering,
about your drama.
it delayed the healing process.
Yeah.
It delayed the healing process. It delayed the end of the divorce. So things went on a little longer with something I really didn't even want because I wasn't recognizing it.
Right. What would you have done differently?
Well, I
Knowing-
would have
Knowing what you know now.
I would have had more cotton for my ears and a tape across my mouth.
Ooh, I like that.
So
Cotton in your ears.
cotton in the
you can't
ears, so I didn't hear anything said.
Well, we're gonna have to tape your fingers too, because I remember texting going on.
Yeah, but if
Anger
I
text.
well, okay, I have to use blinders, I guess, also, then read
Yeah, you have
read
to
the
blind.
text.
You have
But-
to be. You cannot see. You cannot hear, and you can. We'll be the three monkeys.
What's that? Hear no evil, see
Yeah,
no evil.
yeah.
But the bottom line is, I wasn't controlling my thoughts.
Right. So you were acting out without slowing down and thinking about.
And I'm very surprised, being a martial artist and having such great control over my emotions and my thoughts and everything.
Didn't
Totally
work for that.
Didn't work for that at all. So
Now I had the opposite experience. And again, I wasn't coaching, or I didn't know about the model and everything we know now. I wasn't schooled on this and, done as much coaching as we have and learned so much. I just didn't want to be in an angry place.
right.
I don't like that feeling. I know at times you probably question that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody likes being there except
There are
maybe
people
a
that
bully
I
or
think there are people that get into the anger and like drama and all that, but I didn't like that. I knew the relationship was over, and I think because I had clarity on that level, I was able to accept it, and then just decided that it needed to be done, and both of us shared the same thoughts, I think, as peacefully and as carefully and as respectfully as possible. So I don't recall that. I recall almost being more sad than angry.
Well, I think that
I got angry at the other side, the divorce lawyer.
you're
Because
right.
he did something silly, my ex's divorce lawyer. I won't mention him. He knows what he did
Okay.
when he wasn't supposed to do it. But anyhow, that kind of pissed me off. But I just talked to my ex about it. He's like, yeah, he shouldn't have done that. So
Yeah, well, I think the bottom line is it takes two to tango. You had two people that wanted the peace and wanting to move forward, where we had two people that liked gasoline on a fire.
Who, you and your ex?
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys did that for a long time, though.
Yeah.
Because when we got married, which was what, almost 2 years after your divorce,
Yeah. Very close.
it's like, I still saw it, but who am I to say?
Yeah.
Okay, anyhow.
Well, let's talk about
we
pain.
move on. So there's two different types of pain.
There is.
Yeah.
What kind?
Pretty simple. There's physical pain.
Yes.
It hurts, ow, kind of thing. And then there's emotional pain. And both are very real.
Well, let's explain physical pain first.
Okay.
So what happens is I touch a hot stove.
Yeah.
The touch sends a message
Sensor.
to my brain.
It says.
Okay, and
Ow.
then that says, that is unpleasant. And then it sends back the message to get the fingers off and don't touch it again.
Exactly.
So it's teaching me what hotness is.
Yeah, so avoid pain. Don't
Avoid
touch
pain,
that
don't
hot
touch that, yes.
burner. Emotional pain is when you have a thought that creates pain in the body.
Yeah.
So when we coach and we learn about the model, which is circumstances, create a thought that creates a feeling. The feeling comes from your thoughts. So when you have a thought, he's an asshole. Or
We could
she
say that, it's our
is
podcast.
a bitch. that is going to create a feeling in your body. It might be anger, right?
Yeah.
And you can feel that physically if you really know yourself well and you learn, you could feel it. For me, when I feel emotion, a lot of times, depending on the emotion, I'll feel it in my throat, like a heaviness, like almost like constricting. When I'm feeling mostly, I deal mostly with a lot of anxiety. I think that's my number one emotion that I deal with, which is coming from a thought,
Right.
which is like I have so much to do. usually. Overwhelm, thought. That then leads to a feeling of anxiety, like overwhelm, right? So it's like this nervous kind of like can't breathe kind of feeling. When you felt the anger, where did you feel it?
I felt the tension in my body.
But where?
Usually in my neck, my back.
Stiff.
Stiff.
Right.
I felt like I was working out almost, the whole got the fatigue part of it. But the next part I just wanted to, it's kind of off topic, and I wanted to kind of just thought it was kind of interesting, an interesting point that when somebody gives you medication for pain in your body, let's say you take Advil, ibuprofen, or even a prescription drug,
right?
That also takes care of the emotional pain.
What do you mean?
Because it comes from the same part of the brain.
So is that why people sometimes get addicted to?
That's how addiction carries, because
I did not know
past, let's say, the surgery of the knee, the pain from the knee surgery is gone, but the emotional pain may still be there.
Sure.
So they want to take that drug
Continue to take that
to hide their emotional pain.
So is that maybe, and so where did you learn about that?
Well, I just, researching thing. And, I was understanding that the brain, I'm going to figure out what it was called again, the anterior something or other. We'll get there when we get there, but the same part of the brain deals with emotional pain and physical pain. It both goes to that part of the brain.
Yeah.
And it doesn't let you know that there's pain. It lets you know that it's unpleasant.
Doesn't feel good.
It's the part of the brain that lets you know it doesn't feel good, it's unpleasant. So even though the pain has gone away, the unpleasant part of the emotional pain is still there.
Right.
So that's how addiction happens.
I also think it's important, and we were going to talk about this in another episode, and I think it's relevant right now, is that feeling the pain is important. Recognizing where it is and what it is, identifying it, like anxiety, anger, sadness, whatever it is, and feeling it. We're taught, or many of us are taught from a very young age, sit there, be quiet. Raise your hand if you want to speak. In other words, be quiet, right? In a lot of athletics, it's suck it up.
Suck it up, buttercup.
Suck it up. Don't let the other side know what you're thinking. Put on a tough face.
Yeah.
Hide your emotions. Just get out there and get it done. Don't let anybody know what you're thinking. Those types of things that we're taught, and that's really hurtful for us to learn how to deal with pain, right? Because we're taught just to kind of suppress it, ignore it, and not deal with it.
Or deal with it by yourself.
Right.
And I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are coped or have the ability to deal with the pain by themselves.
No. So what else, honey?
Well, let's talk about the symptoms of emotional pain. When you can.
How do you know if
you're going through some emotional pain issues, I know that there's withdrawal.
Well, let's talk first about what that looks like. Again, when you're going through divorce or after your divorce, during the divorce for sure, there's a lot of emotional pain, right?
Yeah.
The difference is the emotional pain impacting you day to day, right? Recognizing the symptoms isn't just critical for your mental health, right? But it also helps you navigate the rough patches and understand and give yourself some kindness and compassion. So I like to say, be your best friend. Self-compassion is so necessary when you're dealing with divorce.
Cut yourself a break.
Cut yourself a break. You're allowed to feel emotional pain. You are going through a tough time. Own it, right? Let it be there. Let it live there. And recognize it as just part of like a physical pain. You touch the burner and you withdraw your hand. Well, we have to really understand where this emotional pain is so we can deal with it. Right. So some of the clues that you're dealing with, that you have emotional pain are social withdrawal and loneliness, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes pushing away friends, family, loved ones, not saying yes to invitations,
Right.
trying to just like hide, put the covers
Call that
over
a
your head.
homebody, becoming a homebody.
Give yourself, this is what I like to tell my clients, give yourself permission for a long weekend to go through all that. You can sit in be all upset. You can dwell, you can hide, you can stay in bed, watch Netflix, eat whatever you want, and then you're over it. Okay? Have your time with it, deal with it, and then say, Monday morning, bright and early, 6 o'clock, I'm done with this. Okay? Be kind to yourself. If a friend of yours was going through a divorce and they felt a lot of emotional pain, what would you tell them? You certainly wouldn't tell them to hide it or ignore it. You would tell them, listen, this is understandable. You've been through a lot. This is challenging. Give yourself a break. Yeah. Right?
And then you may even go as far as doing unsafe things.
Yeah. When you're dealing with emotional pain.
When you're dealing with emotional pain and maybe you're blaming yourself and you're taking it out on yourself.
Dangerous habits.
Dangerous habits. You take up
risky behaviors.
Yeah, risky behaviors. I'm going shark diving tomorrow.
No, you're not. Especially since we have a hurricane on the horizon.
Right.
Okay, emotional fatigue. This is also an indication, right? Mental, emotional exhaustion can sneak into your daily routines. Gradually they start to be like, well, I'm not going to make it to the gym today. I'm just not feeling it. And physically, you'll probably really feel it.
Yeah.
Like you will feel that you are dealing with an emotional pain because physically you're just feeling really run down and tired.
And your lack of enthusiasm, and maybe your lack of enthusiasm
Energy.
For something that you used to love.
Yep, negative thoughts is another one.
Yeah.
Lots of negative thoughts can come up, and those can interfere tremendously because if you're living with all these thoughts of negative issues, that's just going to bring you again, thoughts create results. So if you're having negative thoughts, guess what's going to happen to your result line?
Right.
You're going to have negative results. You got to gently start to change that, right? That's where we're coaching. Changes in appetite and weight.
Well, I mean, we talked before about buffering, and if you're going through, things like this, you might drink more, you might eat more, and your friends are gonna see the change. You're not eat all. You might get real thin.
Lose their appetite.
Get heavy. You might be, sleeping till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So there's going to be telltale signs that you're going through emotional issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how
So
can we get support?
we already talked about support.
Yes.
I want to talk more about the thought part of it. I
Okay.
know we have here the things, 8 ways to support yourself, but everybody knows this.
Everybody knows that.
Regular exercise.
And mindfulness.
Even when you don't want to do it, just get up, go for a walk, get your tushy to the gym, take a class. Listen, you don't have to spend a whole hour there. I used to suffer with this thought process that if I couldn't get to the gym for an hour, then I would just give it up. No, that is silly. Go for a 15-minute walk, right? That's good. Mindful practices such as yoga, breathing exercises. What else?
Could be just reading. When you're reading a good book. I mean, that's definitely, exercising your mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
But that wasn't one of your 8 that you
Well,
wrote.
no. Definitely feeling your feelings is
Right.
an important thing.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Healthy lifestyle, healthy habits. You're working out, you're eating healthy, you're stretching.
Yes.
Flexibility is very important for
Yes.
all
these
this
things.
good stuff.
Reaching out to support networks, find a creative outlet to
Hiring
express
a
your
coach.
emotional pain. Find a creative outlet to express your emotional pain.
Yeah. So you were saying about thoughts.
Writing, painting, playing music, those types of things. So those are like the 8 quick things. No, it's that, your thoughts are leading to the emotional pain.
Right.
If you can recognize that the thought is creating the actual pain, emotional pain, that's where, again, the beauty lies, right?
Yes.
Is figuring out and first, I think, recognizing you are having these thoughts that are painful, and now gently just trying to move them to thoughts that are happier thoughts,
Right.
or maybe even just a little better
Yeah.
right?
It's definitely a gradual change.
It's a gradual change. These things that we teach in coaching with our clients, that's why it takes time. Nothing is like do this and it's gonna be a miracle changer in like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
No, these things take time, right? Now, I did want to say though that dealing with emotional pain from divorce, there is a place for that, just like grieving.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work through it. I think a lot of times you have people that just want to jump past the emotional pain and they don't recognize it or deal with it, and then they never dealt with it and it comes back and it bites you.
Or people telling you that you should get over it. You should do it this way.
Well, for whatever reason
exactly.
for whatever reason they don't deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't deal with the emotional stages and pain of divorce, what happens is that now, let's say 6 months later, a year later, you go on a date and something that he does triggers you. And it brings back all that anger that you didn't deal with stemming from your divorce. Or maybe it's trust issues, right? You're out there in the world again, you're starting to navigate through life, and you encounter someone, you got major trust issues going on. You don't trust anybody. You just haven't dealt with your emotions. And I think dealing with them is the first step.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
How do you propose people do that?
Well, awareness is first of all what you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
have, and I think that understanding your wants and realizing that this isn't what I want. I don't want
Right.
to feel this way. I don't want to hide. I don't want to have any of this emotional pain anymore. And understanding this is what I want. It's
And-
amazing. You know what's amazing is most people, when you ask them what do they want,
Mm-hmm.
they answer with, well, I don't want this and I don't want that.
Not what they really want.
Not what they really
It's
want.
interesting. Yeah.
So if you determine what you really want, and then
What you really, really want.
what you really want, and then take maybe just jot down the baby steps.
Yeah.
I mean, if you say I want to be this and
There were
this,
so many people that we did this last episode about indecision.
right?
They don't know what they want, but they don't try to know what they want.
Well,
They think I think a lot of people live in this thought process world. They live in this
process world.
thought
next episode, thought
that
process
the
world.
next day they're going to wake up and have clarity without doing more than just waking up and having clarity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What I mean by that is you have to figure out what it is that you want. Some of us are lucky enough to have this aha moment where we just like, oh, that feels good, that feels right, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But many of us don't know what we want. I know that my own kids are having issues with that, starting their careers and in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
What do they want? And so what happens is they end up just going through the motions every day and thinking like they're gonna have this aha moment. No, the aha moments are created. So you gotta deal with the pain, so then you can work through the emotions, get to the other side of it. The pain's not going to hurt you. It's not like the burner that you touch, and if you leave your hand there, it will burn you and you're gonna have a serious problem physically. Emotional pain can be very, very harmful, but the beauty about emotional pain is that it will not usually hurt you physically,
Exactly.
right? What hurts you about emotional pain is when you don't deal with it, you stuff it down and you ignore it and think that's the way to make it go away. You gotta head it on.
Wow.
You got what it takes. You know how to get through this. You can do hard things. You can work through the emotional pain onto your best life.
Wow. I don't think we can end it any better than that. Just
Well,
remember
with that
that
being said, will you take me to dinner?
I'm going to take you to dinner.
Okay, cool.
But emotional pain is normal.
Yes.
Okay. You have to deal with it.
Yes.
Well, you don't have to do anything, but if you do deal with it, you don't have to put up with the suffering.
That's what you just said.
I know.
I know.
So-
What were you doing, a recap for me?
I'm recapping.
Okay. I thought we were stopping on mine, but we'll stop on yours.
I think you should say
Do you want me
more.
to have the last word?
Yes.
I'm just kidding, everyone. Listen, you have what it takes to get through this. You can get past your divorce, you can get on with your life, and yes, you can have an amazing life after divorce. It's available to you. Work on the pain, let's get you through it, and let's get you on to your best life yet.
Sounds great.
Okie dokie.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next
and
week.
Listen,
Yes.
take us up on some free coaching for goodness sake. You know, no, Jeff is offering right now kind of, the world's in a little bit of a state of kind of, you know, not in a great place. So Jeff has been kind enough on his website to have free coaching available, see what it's like. You know, most of our clients, yes, we deal with people going through divorce, but I'll tell you, recently, and as we've talked about, I got a lot of people that are in stuck marriages not knowing what to do.
Right.
And so they come to you as a coach as well. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. How do you
You've
deal?
saved
How do you
some
deal with
marriages.
this hurricane? How do you deal with the election? How do you deal with it? I can help you.
Well, I'll come for a free session.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Talk to you next time. Have
See
an
you
amazing
soon.
week.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to follow us on social media for more empowering content, tips, and inspiration to help you thrive after divorce. And if you're ready to take the next step in your journey, don't miss out on our free 30-minute coaching session. It's a great opportunity to get personalized guidance and support for wherever you are in your divorce journey. Just visit the link in our description to book your appointment.